That right there is the sin that is happening here. The announcer literally says turnabout is fair play. Well, that's a fair point, but the fans are all cheering. The announcers word things like this differently. If this were the other way around and Randy Orton started doing what happens to him here, they'd be calling it a mugging. And I'm going to send them for that.
Father to father, I wish you'd reconsider.
I'm going to send this in the expectation that Shane isn't. He's either not going to reconsider at all, like he's going to tell Kevin to suck it, or he's going to pretend to, but not actually. That right there is going to get Smackdown a con, because this goes far beyond what I would consider a sin. The execution of that back elbow, I don't know if he's doing it perfectly. He might be doing it perfectly every time. My issue is the way it appears. I've literally seen him do that move, and I've watched matches where he's used that move, and I didn't realize he had executed any offense until the announcer said so. That elbow looks accidental. Like, I've seen ones where it looks like he's turning around to run at the ropes and the other guy headbutts his arm. Andrade actually has... Like, I'm not taking anything away from his talent when I pick on that elbow. It's literally just the way the elbow looks. As far as talent goes, he's obviously got it. So this is going to be a pro for SmackDown. Go, little man.
So Elias can focus on defeating Kevin Owens in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. No exception. Sincerely, the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Specifically so that Elias can beat Kevin Owens. So, you're obviously biased, but you're trying to make us think you're not biased. Vince was so much better at being a bad guy because he'd come out at the beginning of the show and Vince would tell us, here's how I'm going to screw you tonight.
Hey! Just want to consummate my marriage.
Again, for those who don't watch wrestling on a regular basis, he recently got married in real life. He is not allowed to consummate his marriage without the 24/7 championship, which I think makes his wife a literal gold digger. Moving on. Okay, so not a sin, not a pro, not a con. Just a side note. My birthday's coming up October 1st, and an Oh My Goddess coffee cup would be awesome.
Your win over WWE legend Trish Stratus at SummerSlam can kind of be seen as a passing of the torch.
Enough with the torch and the passing of it. Because Hogan passed it to The Rock, who passed it to John Cena, who passed it to Roman Reigns, I think, but maybe John Cena still got it. I'm not sure. Where do they keep the torches when, they're not being passed to someone else? Why have I never seen a torch? So, the Undertaker's druids are the only ones I've seen with torches. So, is that who holds on to them while they're not busy being passed to somebody else? Also, who decides who the torch gets passed to? I mean, did Trish Stratus come out and say, I want to give my torch to Charlotte Flair? Or did WWE Creative decide they should have a passing of the torch match? Because that seems a little unfair if Trish doesn't get to pick. Who would you like to be the one to take the torch from you? Bayley. No, Trish picked Charlotte. Sure she did. Moving on.
Sure. Trish, one of the greats of her era. No, Trish didn't pass the torch. I took the torch. And
where did you put it afterward?
Everyone else already knows that I am the queen of all eras.
Don't do it.
The queen of all eras, which I cannot disagree with, because everybody has to admit, when we were all 5 and 6 years old, we watched wrestling for Charlotte Flair. Oh wait, no, she wasn't there, was she? Oops.
In the face of the Smackdown women's division.
Charlotte being the face of the Smackdown women's division is kind of like Brock Lesnar being our Universal Champion. It's okay to only show up every 3 months.
In the face of the Smackdown women's division.
So SmackDown Live is the house that AJ Styles and Charlotte Flair built? Somebody needs to tell AJ's wife.
Well, that's a challenge. I accept.
Apparently, see, I didn't watch SummerSlam, but apparently Charlotte had a great match where she beat Trish Stratus. I hadn't seen her for months before that, but, you know, she shows up and she beats a Hall of Famer and nobody else, so she definitely deserves this title shot. Oh, wait. That doesn't sound right. Does that sound right?
Mm-mm.
She doesn't win? She doesn't win? She doesn't win title shots. Yeah, okay, that sounds right. She is a Cena.
And finally, shut your mouth.
You guys may or may not have known this, but all of the WWE writers were recruited from people who wrote on 80s action movies.
One more thing I forgot is very important.
Yay!
You're cheering that? I mean, sure, Charlotte was being offensive, but how often am I going to get a chance to do this? Bully! Moving on.
And I was only trying to help you.
Now, I distinctly remember that he told Roman when Roman first came to him that he wouldn't tell him a damn thing. And Roman threw him around the room a whole bunch of times. That right there is Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. And they have been holding Roman Reigns' supposed attacker in the back all night. So, if you were that guy with both of them right here, wouldn't you be leaving? Moving on.
You are a cowardly liar.
And tigers and bears, oh my.
Ryan went to find this guy. I can't wait to hear what he says coming up.
He's got the scoop on just how far Daniel Bryan went to find the so-called culprit. Shouldn't he know who it is then?
With a patty made from plants, no beef.
No beef. I've never had plant taste like beef before. Tastes like a whopper. Tastes like a whopper. Tastes like a beef burger.
Lies.
Introduce
In case you guys haven't paid attention during this commercial, along the bottom here, it says opinions can vary, which means that this commercial was made up by questioning 10,000 people what they thought about this Impossible Whopper, and then they took the opinions of the 8 people who thought it tasted like beef and put those on TV. Sin. Moving on.
Bryan trying to work his way. Now pulls back on the injure the right arm.
Bryan is brilliant in having an opponent in a hole and making it even worse.
Turns it into Rings of Saturn. And now pulling back on the leg. The brilliant submission specialist Daniel Bryan. Maybe just a moment of time now.
A pro, because watching Daniel Bryan do what he does best is always a good thing.
Murphy might be on the verge of the biggest win of his career.
Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. Get him, Bryan. Give him what he deserves.
Don't you guys know Drake Maverick's in there thinking about consummating his marriage? Quit disturbing that poor man.
You people cheered that.
Damn it, WWE Universe, now you've got me agreeing with Dawson. Moving on.
Press. Oh, now great job by Wilder. Color on Tucker. And the revival.
There was not an offensive move used against him. So that roll up, him staying down that long, is a hard sell for me. That sign right there says you must be at least this tall to participate in the King of the Ring tournament. Elias has been talking about Chad Gable's size. Shelton Benjamin is making jokes about his height. WWE recently trademarked the name Shorty G for a superstar. Now, because of the storyline and the fact that they trademarked that name, it's looking like Chad Gable is going to become Shorty G. Rest in peace, Gable's career. Moving on.
4 weeks from tomorrow, Wednesday.
NXT is coming to the USA Network about halfway through September. Them making it onto the USA Network, that's a pro for the WWE in general, so we're going to count it on this episode.
You know, you've been doing a lot of losing lately. I imagine you've had a lot of time to think while lying on your back staring up at the lights.
That's okay. It's about to get a lot better. But not for you. Because I called for Roman. And Roman's coming. He's going to find out exactly what you did.
No, he's not. Because Roman already knows exactly what this person supposedly did. What Roman wants to know is who this person is. So, be careful how you put stuff, Daniel, because I'll pay attention every damn time. Moving on.
Matchup, the winner who will sit on the crown, hold the scepter, wear the crown, and the robe. Elias, if he wants to get.
Now, I don't normally send people for screwing up when they're talking because it's a human thing, but sitting on the crown sounds painful, and I just have to bring that to everyone's attention. Thank you. Moving on.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. Did you just say sit on the crown, Tom? Sit on the throne? Excuse me.
See, they pointed it out too, so I feel better about it. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that somebody at WWE is already paying attention to my videos because that throne does not look plastic anymore. And I'm very happy to see that they upgraded it to plaster. Thank you.
Just imagine if Elias wins. He'll be mentioned in the same breath as the King, Elvis Presley.
I hate you right now for making me wish that Corey Graves were there instead of you. Moving on.
Oh, that's what happens when you don't follow the rules. You get fined.
Has he never seen a heel wrestler operate? Roman beat up a guy backstage. Kofi was swinging chairs at people who had no weapons of their own. That happened earlier tonight. We'll move on right here because the rant that logic would send me into would take all night, and I just don't have the energy.
Was it really Byron? Because who is Kevin Owens' help besides himself? He's the only person I see in the main event. Where are these other opportunities he's created for the superstars? Watch.
Isn't Buddy Murphy now the King of the Ring tournament? I'd forgotten all about him until Kevin Owens mentioned his name when he started ranting, but no, Kevin Owens hasn't helped anybody. Moving on. Okay, now we're talking about the 24/7 rules being lifted by Shane McMahon to help Elias again. This is what comes next.
Is that a problem for you, Byron?
The issue we have with it is Shane literally is doing it so that Elias can win, not so that they have a fair, unbiased match. When I dislike an announcer more than I do any wrestler, there is a problem. That is a full-on con. We have gone past sin, and the announcer is now getting negatives for the show.
Favoritism here on Smackdown Live, dude. How is it favoritism? Oh,
how is it favoritism? Goddamn, I just need a mute button for one announcer. Moving on. We're going to play a little game. I'm going to set a 1-minute timer on my phone. If I can make it through all 7 of my sins for this scene right here in that 1 minute, we're going to add 50 sins to the show's total of the night. Shane is asking for his $100,000 and Kevin Owens starts looking under the ring. I really hate when my WWE Network shows me old Vince Austin footage. Kevin Owens is disgusted that Shane has decided to reform the Kiss My Ass Club. That's not an official ref shirt because the lines in the $sign don't alternate black and white. Kevin Owens is clearly disgusted that Shane is telling him Superman 3 is the best movie ever. Shane is yelling at Kevin Owens because he lost a contact mid-match. And even if I don't finish in the 1 minute, I'm still going to add 50 sins because I'm the Shane McMahon of this channel abusing my power. 17 seconds to go. Yes. And we are not going to go into why the ending of the Kevin Owens Elias match is a con, but it's a con. Moving on. I'm going to be really disappointed if it's Luke Harper under this thing. Let's find out. I'm going to give a pro to Smackdown for leaving me with more questions than I had when the night started. I'm also going to give them a con because at this point, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan and the writers are insulting my intelligence with whatever explanation they could possibly come up with for this. I have this week's episode already recorded. I might skip right over Raw and watch to see what the hell this is all about.